Yeah, I'm so sorry that this is happening, but then that is the only way we are managing to record this session. Otherwise, tomorrow we'll do Google Meet. I think it's a good idea because anyway, I intend to post this on YouTube. So we will do. Yeah, I was talking about this, this ideology which was being actually um, kind of initiated through people like Murthy, is an ideology which has appeal all over, in every country, in every time frame. It is not as if it becomes redundant. This idea of self rule, this idea of governance with your own powers, is a matter of dignity. If you deny yourself the right to be able to look after yourself, to be able to govern yourself, then you are actually doing yourself injustice. Oh my God. We just wait for a few more to join in. Okay, we carry on. I keep admitting whoever joins in, and I'll speak. Yeah, we were talking about Jairam Char and how he talked about Parvati and Lord Shiva as Swaraj and the country of India. He also goes on to talk about another story. Did I talk about it that day? Did I mention the story of Lord Brahma? I don't think I did. He kind of, brings in reincarnation of the lords when he wants to bring in the significance of the birth of Mahatma Gandhi in a village in Gujarat, wants to equal it to the birth of a lord amongst humanity in order to correct society where it is going wrong. It is the significance of God as Mahatma Gandhi is introduced through this story. He talks about Jairam Char, he talks about how the sage Valmiki goes to Lord Brahma and tells him that, your country, your daughter, your favorite daughter, Bharata, he calls her Bharata. Bharata is supposed to be feminine always. Do you know that she has been invaded by foreigners, and right now she is under subjugation, she is whipped, and all kinds of atrocities are done upon her. You are so it is so unfortunate because that she was your favorite daughter, and you had given her all the possible riches. You have given her, gold, diamonds, minerals. You've given her great kings, you've given her great saints, you've given her all the beautiful rivers and mountains, everything possible. But today, unfortunately, she is under the rule of a foreign country. And you are not doing anything. I have come to approach you to make sure that a God is sent from the heavens to go and correct it. And immediately, Brahma follows his, accepts his request and sends Lord Shiva, who's meditating on the Mount Kailas, to go down to earth and take birth as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. That is how the significance of Mahatma Gandhi is brought about here. We have 24 students. I think 4 have disappeared or unable to join in. I don't know what happened to them. Okay. All right. So when we this was the role that mythology played in initiating the freedom movement in Kantapura. And the day Jairam Char comes to do this performance and to talk to the villagers, apparently, it is supposed, it is all under wraps. It doesn't seem to have any political intent to it. But what was happening was a, a kind of very subtle maneuvering of the minds of the village folks was taking place. Maneuvering, manipulating. You can conclude that there was design and strategy to it. There was an ulterior motive to it, which kind of brings down the eminence of the ideology of the freedom struggle. But then how else are you supposed to reach to every nook and corner of the village without trying to maneuver the minds? Now, if you go and just tell them that the Britishers are here to rule and this is how they are being unjust to you, so you follow what we say and you start spinning yarn and follow, do spinning every day, once 1 hour, nobody is going to follow it. So they had to use the gods, they had to use religion, they had to use mythology in order to convince these people that what was happening was actually unjust. And in order to protest, in order to join a god like Mahatma Gandhi, they had to adapt to the Gandhi ways. And what were the Gandhi ways? When Jairam Char made his, performed before that was the day when the, the authorities, they realized that Kantapura is probably becoming a hotbed of controversy. Probably there is unrest there. People are devising plans. People are becoming, informed about what is happening, and they're probably, going to be responsible for unrest all over the world, all over the country. So it is only after this day, while he was actually performing, the police turn up and Jairam Char is taken away from Kantapura and he's never to be seen after that. And after 2 days of this performance, a person called Bade Khan, a policeman, he comes to stay there. He comes to stay in Kantapura. Now, when he comes to stay there, everybody is suspicious about him because not only is he a Mohammedan, but he's also a policeman, and police has never entered the confines of the village. So it is something that is not really welcome to them. Are you all there? I hope you're all there listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, fine. Now, when Bade Khan comes to live here, he comes with with the assumption that everybody is going to bow down before him because he's, after all, a representative of the government, and he will be offered a residence, and he will get to stay there and carry out his atrocities and boss over them and be the lord in the village. But the villagers also have their own minds. They are too used to their own set ways to get bullied by this kind of a person. So nobody offers him a place to stay in. So he turns up in the house of the Patel Range Gowda. He's one of the most powerful and probably not the nicest character in the story because he belongs to the Shudra caste. But he's a Patel. A Patel is supposed to be something like a headman of the village. He is a chieftain. His role is that of a revenue collector. He collects on behalf of the government. He collects the taxes for the agricultural produce and the lands of the people, and he deposits it in the government treasury. Now this is his task as his responsibility as a government man. He's a representative of the government, but he's a very kind soul. He's very rich. He has a 9-beamed house. He wears thick bands of gold on his wrists. He has very strong sons-in-law who work on the fields with him. He has amassed enough money for himself, but that doesn't make him arrogant and unconcerned or unempathetic towards the suffering of others. He's one of the kindest people. He's very kind to people who are who have overdue taxes to pay. Everybody knows that they have a friend in Range Gowda. All right, even though he's a very bullyish kind of person, very rough in speech, talks very roughly but very kind-hearted. So Bade Khan approaches him thinking that since he is kind of a leader of the village, he's going to offer him some kind of residence. But Bade Khan is Range Gowda is also dismissive of him. He doesn't pay him any attention. He says that go look for your own place for yourself. I can't help you. If somebody offers you a residence, fine. What can I do? I'm not here to look after who gets a house, who doesn't get a house. No, you are meant to be a representative of the government. No, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do whatever the government says or whatever. So ultimately, this man has no other choice but to reach the coffin the Skeffington coffee plantation. Now, this is the first time that we are being introduced to the Skeffington coffee plantation, a little higher up, which exists above Kantapura, and that is supposed to be a place actually which is, which reeks of the injustices done by the Britishers. This is a place where coolies are brought in, laborers are brought in from all parts of the country, probably from Andhra Pradesh, wherever there is drought, wherever there is floods, where people are starving. They are convinced that they are going to get uh, 3 annas, 4 annas per day labor, and lots of milk to drink and lots of rice we get here. A lot of promises are made by agents who go to hire them for this plantation. And once they enter the gates of the plantation, they are ruined forever. They are bonded labor. They are not paid what they are promised. They are given very dilapidated huts to live in, hardly any food. When they fall sick, they die. It's a very distraught, very unhappy state of affairs within the coffee plantation, Skeffington coffee plantation, owned by a Britisher. And this becomes a place of focus for Murthy, because if Kantapura is a serene, placid, domesticated village of people who are holy, pious, devout, do not have much of ambition to rule themselves. They are happy with their gods, going to the temple, reading religious scriptures. If that is what Kantapura stands for, the coffee plantation stands for deprivation. Coffee plantation stands for suffering, misery, poverty, bad health, exploitation. So this eventually becomes the focus of Murthy. Now, when the Bade Khan goes to the coffee plantation, he asks for a residence from the head, the Englishman who owns the plantation. He is immediately given a hut, because, after all, the Englishman wants more people on his side to rule over the huge lot of laborers that he has in his plantation. So he says, okay, fine, give him a hut. And this man is so clever that he finds himself a woman, a lonely woman belonging to the low caste, who is willing to clean up his house and cook for him, and also, share his bed with him at night. That's considered his right. Now, when we talk about this, how much time we have? I think we talked about mythology, and it is time for us to talk about women in Kantapura, a little bit about women. We've been only introduced to Rangama in this story till now. Rangama is, like I told you, she's the owner of Kannaya House. She's someone who is very close to Murthy. According to her, sister-in-law, Venkamma, Waterfall Venkamma, she has illicit relations with Murthy. And she's a widow, and Murthy seems to be going too often to her house. And after this incident of Jayaram Char, after the Karwad Congress committee had kind of taken cognizance of the fact that Kantapura could be initiated into the freedom movement, a lot of activities were happening in Rangama's house, because she, after all, she lives alone with her parents, and she lives quite independently. She seems to have a mind of her own, because she allows for Congress activities to happen in her house. A lot of spinning wheels are sent from Karwad for them to be distributed among the villagers in Kantapura. And what is the symbol of the spinning wheel? The Mahatma says every person should spin his own yarn. Every woman, every man should spin his own yarn, thread, because we produce enough cotton. If we sit 1 hour every day and spin our own thread, our yarn, then we will not have to depend on the English people for our cloth. What is happening is we are doing away with our own stuff, and we are getting in importing stuff from abroad, which is at a much higher rate. And this is forming something like a vicious cycle. We are never able to rid ourselves of our debt-ridden lives, because we are always spending more than we are earning. So if we all try to spin our own cloth, not allow our rice to be sent to mills for it to be refined and sold back to us, we will become more self-reliant and more self-dependent. I told you that this entire spirit of Gandhiism is of universal appeal. It is not about only the freedom movement time, it is about times now also. The more you aim to becoming reliant upon yourself, the less you depend upon the trappings of society, the more free you are. Today with COVID, we are managing to do without all those things that we thought we can never do without. Every second day of the week, we thought that, oh, we must go and have a burger somewhere or a pizza somewhere. And I hope I think you can order in food nowadays, but then what what will replace the pleasure of being able to cook your own pizza or to bake your own cake? If you can do it, you become so self-reliant. There's so much of dignity. You're not helpless like some of the people. I know a few friends who became helpless because we are not supposed to allow, like, it's I think I'm ending up now, so we can talk a little, digress a little. With the COVID coming in, we were a little apprehensive about allowing our domestic help into the house, because not only is she getting exposed, we are also getting exposed. So what I did was, I told her that you stay at home, I will pay you. I mean, it's not easy to to pay money for no work. I said, I will pay you, but you stay at home, I will do my own work. So I'm not used to cleaning utensils every day and sweeping and swabbing, but I had to do it. But then I sleep better at night these days because I am doing my own job. I'm probably doing a better job than she was. And I'm becoming more and more self-reliant. I can manage my life on my own. I don't need anybody else. Yes, I need people. I need you people to be here in front of me so that I can talk to you. But there is so much of dignity about being able to depend on yourself to do your own thing. And that is the kind of culture that was being inculcated through Gandhiism. When we'll talk about this again tomorrow, I think all of you switch on your videos for a minute and I'll take a picture. It's all being recorded anyways. All of you switch on your videos. Yeah, good, good. How many of us are there? Mankirat is still waiting. Why is Mankirat still waiting? Yeah. How many of us are there right now? Can somebody tell me? We are 23 here. Yes? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, ma'am, 23.
So we are there on one page. I don't have to scroll through to see the others, isn't it? Yeah. Mankirat, you joined in?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So are you finding the class interesting, or you find it boring?
Very interesting.
You're finding it interesting? Okay. All right. Fine. So this is it. I think we just have 2 minutes to go. We'll wind up. Okay, so you're finding it interesting, or is there any other approach you would like? I'll do Google tomorrow. We'll not do Zoom today. Today we do Zoom. Tomorrow we do Google. Okay. Anything you want to say? Anyone? Mankirat, Who sent me a message the other day? Ankirat, was that you?
Ma'am, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for your message. It is very gratifying when, you know, when somebody appreciates what you do. And if you don't, you're most welcome to tell me. If you feel that there's something going wrong somewhere, please tell me. All of you. Most welcome. Yes? And that's it. Fine then. Go and have whatever you want. Have a coffee. Enjoy yourself. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. See you on Google. I think the same link will work. Okay. The same link that we used. It'll be the same. You just log in at 11 o'clock. I'll be there. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you can't, then tell me on the phone, on the WhatsApp. Fine. See
Okay, ma'am.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice to see you guys. Bye bye.